green lush Brazil? It definitely is. As mentioned in my introduction, my trip started with a visit to meet my newborn grandson. As the family lived in Sao Paulo, well, I just had to see the beautiful botanical gardens. The visit was a photographer's delight. The patterns made by the palm trees' foliage were just mesmerizing. The leaves and plants of many varieties and of different shapes and sizes, interweaving with each other, were quite transfixing. By the late 19th century, the area now known as Parque Estadual das Fontes do Ipiranga was a vast rainforest, interspersed with farms and plantations. To protect the headwaters of the Ipiranga stream and harness its hydroelectric potential, the government reclaimed the land, officially establishing Parque do Estadual in 1917. Initially, the park served as a water source for the Ipiranga neighborhood, but in 1928, botanist Federico Carlos Hone began a new chapter by focusing on the conservation of local flora and fauna. A prominent naturalist of his time, Hone was invited by the Secretary of Agriculture, Industry and Commerce to lead the creation of Sao Paulo's Botanical Garden. Inspired by Sweden's Uppsala Botanical Garden, he designed the space with lakes, staircases, a reflecting pool, and greenhouses imported from England. A highlight was the orchid nursery, built on pergolas to showcase Brazil's rich biodiversity. By 1929, the garden was already drawing visitors. The nursery, now known as the State's Nursery, remains a key feature. Although it opened to the public earlier, the Botanical Garden was officially inaugurated in 1938. In 1942, the Botanical Department became the Botanical Institute, with Hone as its first director. Under his leadership, the garden became a centre for botanical research, education and environmental awareness in Brazil. The name Brazil comes from Terra do Brasil, meaning land of Brazilwood. This tree, once abundant along the Atlantic coast, can grow up to 15 meters tall. Its dark bark flakes to reveal vibrant red-colored sapwood, a prized material used especially for crafting high-quality string instrument bows. Today, Brazilwood is listed as an endangered species by the IUCN and is officially recognized as part of Brazil's endangered flora. Because of its commercial value, Brazilwood was harvested intensely, especially during the 18th century. This overexploitation led to its near extinction. Initially, indigenous peoples were enslaved to cut and transport the valuable wood. Over time, the Portuguese began importing enslaved Africans, especially as other industries such as sugar production and gold and diamond mining developed. Africans were often preferred because they were more familiar with farming techniques and were less susceptible to the diseases that devastated indigenous populations. In the moist tropical climates, orchids, ferns and other epiphytes can be found living on the trunks and branches of trees. It is quite amazing to see the mixes of vegetation on the host for support, but without drawing nutrients from them. One of my favourite flowers is the Heliconia rostrata, also known as the hanging lobster claw. It is a striking herbaceous perennial, native to parts of Central and South America, thriving in tropical rainforests with warm, humid conditions. I was captivated when I saw it and have since tried many times to recapture something of its beauty. Unlike many heliconias whose bracts grow upright, its colourful bracts hang downward, sheltering the flowers beneath. These hanging structures don't collect rainwater, making the nectar within them even more concentrated, attracting a variety of birds, especially hummingbirds. The bird of paradise flower, Strelitzia, originates from South Africa and was introduced to other parts of the world in the 18th century. Its name honours Queen Charlotte, the wife of King George III of England, who was known for her deep passion for botany. With colonies of Portugal and the slave route from South Africa to Brazil, it is not surprising that plants should arrive that were not originally indigenous to South America. It is another amazingly striking flower, and one that I have tried to depict in my paintings. Another plant that I love for its bold colour and dynamic shape is a Heliconia behai. It grows erect and is native to South America. It is especially common in Brazil. Unlike the rostrata, the flowers are upward facing and act as a cup. It is therefore a natural source of rainwater for birds, bats and insects. Relaxing in my hammock, deciding on which view I will paint, I can look up into the unusual floss silk tree. It is slightly off-putting with its spiky trunk and branches. It is covered in sharp conical spines that deter animals from climbing it. Ceiba speciosa, also known as the floss silk tree, grows naturally in most of South America, adapted to drought and moderate cold. The tree produces striking pink flowers with creamy centres and large seed pods filled with fluffy silk-like fibres that give the species its common name. Though lower in quality than kapok, this fibre has traditionally been used as stuffing. I was able to find a cheap set of acrylics from a bookshop. My paintings are mainly sketches for future projects. I didn't want to spend too much on unknown paints. As the colours were limited, I bought some more specialist paints from a lovely art shop that I found. There, I was also able to buy a reasonably priced roll of canvas. The paint, however, can be expensive. For a suitable utensil to wash my brushes, well, a water bottle cut in half is perfect. I sometimes do vague guidelines to help me place myself in the painting. From a restaurant, I was kindly given a container to bring back the food that I couldn't eat. The portions here are large. When painting, don't be frightened. You can just put paint straight onto the canvas. You can mix colours, as I have here in the ultramarine blue with the cadmium yellow, but this green from the set, which is rather like a viridian, a colour I used often in my watercolours, can still work well. Whatever you choose to cover your canvas in, remember that when it dries, you can go over it, so nothing matters. All can be rectified. The water is only to wash the brushes, not to use with the paint. I'm using the acrylics in an oil manner. With the water, the effect would be as a watercolour painting. Acrylics are versatile, but I prefer to use them as an oil base, often then adding oil paint to the painting for the bold colours that I find endure. Acrylic paints can die down when drying, the colours reducing on their impact. I was able to find some flathead brushes. They are the ones I normally prefer to use, though I probably could do with some bigger brushes for this scale of canvas, as I like the effect of bold strokes. The acrylics in this heat dry quickly. Also, the light is changing constantly, so what I will accomplish today, who knows? I am just enjoying playing with the paint and this beautiful view. On my visits, rain has been frequent. A sunny morning turning to rain, well, a deluge, a downpour of rain in the afternoon, then a lovely evening. Sao Paulo has a subtropical climate, marked by a distinct rainy season and moderate temperatures throughout the year. The city receives an average of 1,540 millimetres of rainfall annually, with January being the wettest month. During this time, Sao Paulo sees around 251 millimetres of rain over 25 days. It is no wonder then that sensible waterproof footwear is a must. In Sao Paulo, I came across an amazing shop. It's called Melissa. Made in Brazil by Grendene, one of the world's largest footwear manufacturers, every pair of Melissas is crafted using Melflex, a proprietary, flexible and 100% recyclable PVC. It is put that the shoes are vegan, cruelty-free and registered with the Vegan Society, containing no animal-derived components. With factories fully owned by Grendene, the company ensures transparency, fair labour and good working conditions for over 16,000 employees. By sourcing 93% of materials from Brazilian suppliers, Melissa supports its local communities and contributes to sustainable development at every stage of production. I found this shop and its ethos attractive. Such a good idea and so suitable for the inclement weather. I hope that you have found this episode interesting and will join me next time as I look at the different foods enjoyed in Brazil.